Okay, so we are about to talk about my projects and how I ended up here at NYU, along with what I'm currently doing right now. So I will just share a link with everyone real quick. Please hang on a second. So this is the link. Mm, Thank you. So I will start with the questions and answers in a few seconds. In the meantime, I would like to show you something that I've been working on. So while designing the PCBs, I came across something called PCB Art, and I designed this on a PCB with the help of KiCad. I'm sorry about the camera quality. So this is like a deer in the forest, and it can be made by uh, like etching away the mask layer in a way that the copper inside the PCB is exposed, and the final result will be this. So these are one of the projects that I've been doing. This is the same picture you will be able to find on my portfolio, the link I just shared. So the page one of that will have the same picture. It will just be able to give a clear view if it's not visible from here. Apart from that, mm, I have a few more projects that you might find interesting. One of these is I made this, I designed this. These are the welcome kits for the NYU for the class of 2024. Uh, these will be doubling as like solid practice kits, as well as it also features PCB art. Um, hey Joe, how are you? So I have like a bunch of projects that I would like to discuss. I'm just stalling a little bit so that in the meantime, have any questions they would like to ask me? Okay. Okay. All right. We have 6 viewers so far. Oh, you rebuilt your CNC last week. That's so great. possible to share a link, please? Okay, so in the meantime, if everyone can click the link that I have given, we can like go forward with it and discuss a few more projects that I worked on. So the uh, okay, so far we have like discussed RGB Blinky keychain, and now another thing that I would like to discuss is a very cool project, magnetic fields pulse generator. That is a project that I've done academically, and in this project what I did was, under my under the guidance of my professor, we developed a magnetic field pulse generator with uh, like a novel implementation of power system which might be able to which might be able to stop premature labor in women. We are like able to take this research as far as implementing it to the point that it can be tested on animals, but due to the current corona situation we have put that on a hold for now. um, all right, so Joe will be sharing the link for his CNC machine. uh, that's really great to hear. Mm, so we have like a bunch of projects like these. Before we jump into further projects, does anyone have any questions so far? All right, so apart from that, let me like discuss with you uh, how I ended up starting my own company before I ended up at NYU. So right now, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Rhitvik. I am currently a graduate student at NYU. I was a BlueStamp instructor in the summer of 2019, and I had an amazing time, instructing the students, assisting the staff, and working on a bunch of cool projects. And I ended up learning a lot there. So, uh, having said that, let's like discuss how I ended up having my own startup before joining NYU. So back in 2016, what happened was that there was demonetization in India. All the higher denominations were like illegalized by the government to aid in stopping corruption in the country. So during that time, I, along with a friend of mine, came with an idea that now is the time to invest. Now is the time that we can have a startup that might help to uh, increase digital dependencies, and we ended up developing smart vending machines. So these smart vending machines are, again, if you want to look at how these smart vending machines are, you can scroll down to my portfolio. You will be able to see my startup Survester. There's like a bunch of pictures following that and information regarding what the project really was. So how it worked was that you don't have to insert, so these were like the machines in which you don't have to insert any money. You can directly pay for the products you are going to purchase from these machines from your cell phone. We also developed an app through which you can directly reserve the products you want to purchase, and it will automatically locate the machines where it is placed, or like near around you wherever you are standing. So like this was also done during the times when there was a proliferation of 4G internet in the country. So all in all, this project was very successful to a point when uh, yeah, so this project was successful to a point where like we had a bunch of clients who really liked this project, uh, but they wanted to try, and we were about to launch this thing. And so it happened was that I got kind of saturated with what I'm working on and started and like wanted to learn more from what I was working on, because as much as I like the entrepreneurial side, I still thought that there is a lot of scope for me to learn so that I'll be able to launch this on a commercial level. And hence I like ended up joining NYU to further my technical skills before we continue this thing. um, okay, so hey Joe, if you are still online, I am waiting for the link. And if anyone have any questions so far, please reach out. Yes. Okay, so Brianna has asked what kind of engineering do I do, and what I'm an embedded developer. I work with hardware side of uh, automation systems. So what it includes is working with Arduinos, microcontrollers, designing circuit boards so that we don't have to like keep wire like designing circuit boards to make the circuits permanent instead of wiring temporarily. So having a robust circuit is one of the most important things in development. So PCB development is the field. It really PCB development is the field where we wanna and we learn to ensure that the circuits we are working on are really electrically as well as mechanically connected and like strong. So other aspects of this includes like computer programming. We want to be very sure that how computers work, how a CPU works, because different kinds of microcontroller have different CPUs, and depending upon that, the different kind of instruction set architectures are to be tackled with. I am sorry about geeking out here a little bit, but these are like the basic things that uh, an embedded developer really has to go through on a daily basis while he is working on the project slash she's working on the on her project. Um, okay, so I got another question. How did you get into this stuff? It's a little weird story, but I would like to share it. Okay, so I was really into mechanical engineering before I ended up taking electrical, but having studied thermodynamics of okay, we love nerds, thank you. So after like I was kind of I got scared of thermodynamics. Because of that I thought, okay, what is the best next thing I like? And that happened to be electrical engineering. I loved circuits, I loved how these circuits work and everything. And the moment I landed in college, I learned something about microcontrollers. uh, so those microcontrollers are something like that. I learned how to program them, and I really understood how we can control everything around us with the help of a single microchip, being a microcontroller. So this kind of got me into learning coding and working on projects slowly, and eventually I really developed a very good passion for all these things. And then which drives two motors maybe. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that these motors or these circuits are really strong, and the project can be rendered scalable, and these kinds of things can let you think more like with like these kinds of things will make you think with a more of an industrial agnostic approach. That is what I did. And then I started to learn PCB designing, followed by bare metal microcontroller programming and everything. So that is how I got into this stuff. uh, and also there are some subjective aspects of this question. One like an individual's life experiences are also like a determination factor here. uh, okay, so we have another question. How old were you when you first started working with electronics? Was it at school or outside of school? So I will say that I have always been like I always have been enthusiastically approaching to work and solve problems, whether it was school or it was like college. Whenever my parents got me a remote control car, I used to open it up before playing with it and implemented a circuit of my own with the help of that motor, so that uh, I that is like how I started to understand how electronic circuits work without going into books. So I'll say that okay, I from the very beginning, when I was like when I was in sixth standard, these were the things I started to do. And yeah, once I ended up opening my fridge at home, I was grounded for 1 week, but it was a good experience as well. And after that, in 10th standard, I ended up making an earthquake simulator for a disaster management kind of project. And yeah, so all I like all I love to do was that I wanted to know how everything works, and can I make something, an electrical circuit or a motor or any kind of thing, electrical component, work the way I want it to work. So that is my basic idea of how I approached the problem when I was a child, and this is something that culminated into a passion for my embedded development. How can we do this without getting grounded? Yeah, absolutely. uh, it was like it was pretty costly affair for me opening that fridge up. All my electronic kits were confiscated for me from me. Yeah, that happened too. uh, okay, so I hope that answers the question. Apart from this, majorly my interest in the core field was developed when I was in college, because before that you are really not very aware. I was actually not very aware of what are the things that I can explore, so that which catches my interests to pursue. So yeah, uh, I have also like done a very another project that I would like to share with you here. So wait a second, I will just share a YouTube link with you. Uh, okay, it should be coming right now. So if you go to the link, okay, so Joe is asking, are you interested in returning to BlueStamp? Absolutely. It was the best time of my life. I enjoyed so much working with everyone there, working on so many cool projects. I will definitely want to work with such an amazing team and amazing students there. And also like what I really loved about BlueStamp is the socializing intervals, which like there were 3 and pizza Fridays. So I really enjoyed like all those things. It's quite a memory that I always have been cherishing since working in the BlueStamp. Okay, so continuing with the link I've shared. So this is one of the projects I worked before joining NYU. So what I did here was I automated a prosthetic limb. If you see the limb in the project, a hand. this hand was supposed to be mechanical, and it was not supposed to be like be controlled with an actuator because of cost constraint issues, I'll say. So what I did was I implemented a circuit, and so it happened that a circuit that is costing less than $6 was able to automate the whole thing. So uh, this is one of the interesting projects that I think might be able to help in the field of prosthetics. And if I wanted to further work on this project, but just as soon I ended up here, it was a lot and a lot of work, and I was not able to look back at the project. However, a modification of this project I have worked on is in my previous semester, where we are using image recognition to move the same arm that is described in this project. I will upload the link on that about that on my portfolio real soon. I'm sorry that is not present at this moment. Hi Zev, how are you? So Zev developed a robot car that will be controlled by his gestures made by his hand, if I remember correctly. Am I right, Zev? Okay. Uh, okay, going further, we have, in case if you, and also I should have started with that, but in case if any one of you are interested to understand or go through the projects and the code I have written on the projects, please feel free to check out my GitHub account. It is mentioned in the portfolio links I have provided. Uh, so you can always go there and see how it is working. And in case if there is something that you want to understand how, like, if you are not able to get, or like you want to get more details on that, please feel free to reach out to me. uh, okay, so far anyone have any questions? No? Okay, I will continue with my okay, I got one more question. What is the coolest thing you have ever built? Okay, the coolest thing I have destroyed is a fridge, but the coolest thing I have built, I'm sorry about the bad joke. The coolest thing I have ever built in my life, I would say, is I would say there are like two projects I'm really proud of. One is the smart vending machine. So this was my first major project that I developed on a commercial scale. So I happened to, and I ended up learning a lot. So plus that project was really appreciated across the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem of India, and I still have some of the plans to go along with in the near future to pursue. And another cool thing I think I have worked on is, I would say, it's the microprocessor I ended up developing in first semester. So it was an actual fully functional microprocessor that executed instructions. So I always wanted to learn how computers work, how microprocessors work, and being gi- given the task of designing a microprocessor itself that is completely fully functional, and the assembly code you have to write to be executed in that microprocessor, that is something that I'm also really proud of. uh, and yeah, if we can say that amongst the two, I'll still say that the vending machine I worked on is a very good project that I'm really proud of. And also currently I am working on an industry graded PLC which will not require a programming unit to program it. You can just press some buttons, rotate some knobs, and program it in the device itself. So it's like I've been working on this since the last semester. In case it's a successful project, I will definitely share it with everyone, and I hope that this project might really be something for the industries who are currently using PLCs on a daily basis. Uh, yeah, so uh, I will let's discuss a few more projects that I worked on here. I have worked on another project that I would like to discuss is a wearable falling detection device. So what it was actually given to us as a prototyping challenge in real-time embedded systems class at NYU. And what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to design a system that detects a person who's wearing the band falling, and in case he falls down, uh, it has to generate an SOS signal. So for that uh, we had to read a bunch of sensors and come to a conclusion regarding what kinds of events might have occurred reading those sensors. And with those events we came to a conclusion whether or not a person has fallen down or not. So these are the kind of things that we can work with electronics and like micro electromechanical systems. uh, is there any question anyone would like to ask? Okay. uh, in the meantime, if anyone is about to ask a question, I will like discuss another thing, other projects that I've worked on. So other project that I've worked on is a kinetic energy recovery system. It was my senior thesis project in my undergrad college. So this was a concept where like what I tried to do was when an electric car is applying brakes to stop itself, uh, I utilized the kinetic energy of the running car to recharge the batteries on which the car is running. So this was also a cool concept to work on, and it had a few errors that I was able to resolve, but I was not able to work on this project extensively because by the time my project was over, I already started up with a smart vending machine, and this was kind of sort of uh, kept aside. Maybe I will work on it after I graduate, I guess. Okay. Uh, all right. So I think I have discussed a bunch of projects, and it was I really had a great time on this talk. I think we might be ending this stream soon. So, uh, does anyone have any further questions they would like to ask? And hey, Joe, if you are still online, please do share your link. All right. Thank you so much for having me over. Uh, And again, I would like to end up with a note that I was able, like it have been a very great journey for me so far in the field I'm passionate about. And also I had a lot of ups and downs while I was pursuing what I like to pursue, but I was very content with what I did. I There were moments that I was stuck at a problem for weeks, not for days, but pushing through little by little every single day, not giving up, is something that I really give credit to, for having any project working completely the way I wanted to work. So I have seen that in BlueStamp as well. While kids were working on their projects, students were so diligent with their projects and everything, they were stuck on it for one whole week. A student who was supposed to complete a project in 3 weeks, he was stuck on something for one whole week, but she did not give up. She like consistently worked and ended up designing the complete system to her specifications. So these are like the things that I think you should keep in mind before working on any project, or like working not just a project, but even if you're trying to pursue anything of your choice, like be sure that you are consistent. And also another thing that I would like to share working with BlueStamp is that uh, the one of the best things that I've learned from there is they taught us to celebrate every little achievement. So this is something that will help to keep you motivated while you are going through your toughest time, will keep you entertained while you're working on a project, will keep your enthusiasm high while you're working on a project. So this is something I would also encourage everyone who is uh, like working on any project or pursuing their dream or anything else. Yeah. And having said that, thank you again for having me. I always enjoy working with BlueStamp, and please feel free to reach out to me. My name is Rhitvik. You can reach out to me at rhitvik17@gmail.com. I will just, or you can ask any you can ask any BlueStamp person who is working at BlueStamp, and they will like connect you. All right. Thank you.